Hey boys and girls, it's Miss B. I want to read a special book to you this weekend. We have a hurricane off the coast of Florida, and sometimes when that happens, we can get a little nervous and scared. So I want you to experience a story about two boys and their experience with a hurricane. I hope you enjoy it and have a safe weekend. The day of the hurricane started a lot like any other day. After breakfast, Jeff and I checked our shoes for scorpions, then went outside to play. El Yunque was the biggest mountain in Puerto Rico, loomed over us as we scrambled down the cliff to the ocean. The breeze was soft and the sea was calm inside the coral reef. Far out, a giant stingray flapped its wings across the waves. Our fins slapped as we waded in, watching for the sharp black spines of sea urchins. We pulled our masts down, kicked out toward the reef, breathing through our snorkels, and dived down. Sea fans waved, fire corals flamed, schools of tropical fish flashed by like flocks of birds turning in the wind, while langosta, tasty Puerto Rican lobsters, hid in dark cracks in the huge reef. We came up for breath, and everything around us had changed. The sky had turned deep purple, crowded with clouds. The air was perfectly still, with not a whisper of breeze. I felt as if my breath were being sucked from my lungs. As we swam ashore and climbed up the rocks, Mom raced from the house. "A hurricane!" she panted. "It's coming our way!" Our house could be blown right off its stilts. "Hurry up," Mom told us. "Pack quickly." I ran inside and packed my baseball mitt and ball, my shooting marbles, slinky, and yo-yo. Then I rushed out to put my bike away. Fists of wind pounded me, punching me sideways. The palm trees bent and thrashed in a wild dance. The wind was pushing the waves into mountains. They broke over the coral reef, then crashed against the rocks in a burst of spray as high as our cliff. "Batten down the hatches!" Dad shouted in his old Navy talk as he slammed the storm shutters. I tried to whistle for Tristy, but no sound came. The sky was alive. Lightning scribbled on the dark clouds that had buried El Yunque. Thunder shook the earth. Suddenly, Tristy leaped into my arms and almost knocked me down. The palms, whipping crazily, slung coconuts at us. Everyone piled into the car. I was crammed into the back seat besides Jeff and the suitcase. Tristy sat on my lap and whimpered. The moment Dad drove off, the sky fell. Rain slammed into us like a crashing wave. All the way to the shelter, we drove through rain so solid it was like driving underwater. The shelter was an old Navy barracks where sailors used to live. Babies cried, and grown-ups bustled around, and kids yelled at one another. I sat on a sagging bunk bed and hugged Tristy. Suddenly, with a loud crash, the wind ripped a shutter off. Glass shattered. The hurricane roared in as the lights went out. Mom lit a kerosene lamp. Dad and 2 other men shoved some metal lockers in front of the broken window. I helped too. The barracks shivered and creaked like an old ship at sea. Nails squeaked in the wood as if they were trying to hold the whole building together. Somebody started to sing, so quietly at first that I thought I was just hearing things. But her voice grew stronger. Jeff joined in, then my folks and I. Soon everybody in the shelter was singing Silent Night. Noche de paz, noche de amor. Christmas was months away, but no one cared. The singing made us feel better. Finally, halfway through the night, the wind died down. The rain stopped hammering. All was silent. Well, it's over, Dad said. Mom gave me a big hug. When we got home, the yard was littered with coconuts and palm fronds. But the roof was still on our house, and our house was still on its stilts. We were lucky. We heard on the radio that just 50 miles away, a 10-shack shantytown had been flattened by the wind and the waves. And the next morning, Jeff and I started cleaning up our yard. The sky and the sea were rosy and calm. Above us, unbelievably green, stood a yunque. It was tall and peaceful as ever, as if nothing at all had happened. "Vámonos!" I shouted to Jeff. "Let's go!" We raced down the cliff path to the beach. The sparkle of the sun on the water was brighter than ever.
Hi boys and girls, I'm going to read a little bit about hurricanes to you with this book called Hurricanes by Mary Schuh. Consulting editor, Gail Saunders-Smith, PhD. In this nonfiction text, there is a table of contents that just tells us where things are located in the book along with their page numbers. Included in this book is a glossary, a read more section, internet sites, and an index. Heading: What is a hurricane? Hurricanes are huge, strong ocean storms. They can bring waves, strong wind, and heavy rain to shore. How hurricanes form. Above warm oceans, wet air rises. Wind starts to blow hard. Wind and rain form many thunderstorms. Learning about hurricanes. Meteorologists use satellites and radar to show a hurricane's path. Hurricane hunters fly airplanes into their hurricane. They measure the storm's wind speed, temperature, and pressure. A hurricane's strength is measured by its wind speed. It is given a number from 1 to 5 on the Saunders-Smith scale. Staying safe. Prepare for a hurricane if you live near the coast. Pack food, water, and supplies. Stay inside and listen for reports on the radio. And at the back of our story, it shares the glossary with us. And in the glossary included we had the words hurricane, meteorologist, pressure, radar, Saunders-Smith scale, satellite, and tropical. I hope you enjoyed the story, boys and girls. So boys and girls, this right here is a map. It is called an Atlantic Hurricane Tracking Map, and it comes from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, U.S. Department of Commerce. And meteorologists track hurricanes and other storms using a gridded map that includes your latitude lines, which starting from the equator is at 0 degrees, and they go north. So we have 10 degrees north, 15 degrees north, all the way up into the Arctic Circle. And those are the lines of latitude that go from east to west. Along the grid from moving east to west are your lines of longitude, and they are 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and they begin from the prime meridian, which is over in the Europe and Africa area, and they go from the top of the globe to the bottom of the globe, North Pole to South Pole. So meteorologists use this to track the storms. They also use the compass, which the compass is located right about here. I'm going to draw another one. It includes the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, as well as the intermediate directions that go between the cardinals. So we have northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. That compass helps meteorologists know which direction to inform people which direction the storms are going. The tropics, which are to the north and south of the equator, the Tropic of Cancer is north of the equator, is where the storms tend to begin because of the warm waters. And they tend to go from east to west and north. So they tend to go in this direction right through here. And the season for them is hurricanes are June 1st to November 30th. And meteorologists always keep an eye on those tropics so they can inform everyone when these storms are forming so we can all be prepared. That season is known as hurricane season. In the United States, hurricanes tend to strike the southeast region, which is anywhere from the North Carolina down to the Texas area. So this whole area is always well prepared and ready at any time for the storms. Here's the Caribbean island in the Gulf of Mexico. Some storms have formed in this region as well at times. And the way the meteorologists use these maps is, let's say a storm is at 24 degrees north. They find the 24 degrees north on the map, which here is 20, here is 25. 24 degrees is between that at the line right before 24, and 69 degrees west. Here's 65 and here's 70. So they find where the two lines meet, and where they meet, they plot a dot just like that. And they would continue to plot the dot every couple hours, and they connect it, kind of like connect the dots in those fun activity books. And they just track the storm all the way around to whichever direction it goes. This one I just created went northwest and then northeast. Have a great day.